What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my updated Exosister deck profile. This deck is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Exosister, and I've been a fan since the very start, but honestly, with the most recent wave of support, this deck is just going into a much brighter direction than it was before. So yeah, definitely the kind of deck that I will personally be keeping my eyes on, and this is the kind of deck that would actually bring to regionals and maybe YCS, is because you can really catch people off guard with maybe the second effect of the Exosisters. They probably will be underestimating these cards, so they will be misplaying left and right, and if you know how the other decks function, you can prepare yourself very well for those decks. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe and check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. So as you can see, I am playing 3 copies of every single Exosister monster in the game, except Erin. That one sucks. Basically, it's a worse version of Sophia. Sophia is a free draw 1 while it's on the field if you control another Exosister monster, whereas Erin is like an expensive draw 1. It's you can place 1 Exosister card from your hand on the bottom of the deck to draw 1 card. So why the hell would you play 3 copies of Erin when you can already play 3 copies of Sophia? This card is also kind of bricky, so 1 is way more than enough. Anyways, Malphite is extremely overpowered. It's if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Xyz monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and in the same effect, special summon 1 Elise from your deck. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Exosister monsters. So that's the reason why you're not playing like Gigabyte, Inari Fire, Nefarious Eater, Archfiend of Nefariousness, whatever, etc. And the other weird monsters that special summon themselves when you have like a spellcaster on the field, so can't really do that. And its second effect is broken, so if any card is moved out of any graveyard, including your own card effects and your own cards, you can special summon from your extra deck 1 Exosister Xyz monster using only Malphite as material. So it's kind of broken, honestly. It really is. I love this card so much. And Stella is a pretty good card as well. On the field, you can special summon 1 Exosister from your hand. And then the Elise is in your hand. You can special summon it from the field, onto the field if you control an Exosister monster. So they work relatively well in tandem with each other. The only one that is kind of bricky is Erin, because it literally does nothing to either extend your plays or to get your play started. And Zora is ridiculously overpowered. It's one of the best cards in the deck as well. So you can target 1 Majestus monster you control, equip it with 1 Majestus monster from your extra deck, so you can target itself. And then if this card becomes equipped with a Majestus monster card, which will always be the case with its first effect, so you can equip it with either Artemis, or with the Nibiru, oh my god, Ninaruru, the Majesty, what the heck? Basically, this is an Archfiend Eccentric, so destroys a spell or trap. You will be able to either summon a level 4 spellcaster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but its effects are negated, not the end of the world. So this card is really broken. It searches another Zora because the Artemis is a search, but on top of that, you get the Monster Reborn or summon a monster from the hand, so you get to your play started, or you get to recover with this card. And it's a 1 card rank 4, and if you make 1 rank 4, you get to make another rank 4. And I think you can understand why. It's the fact that Caspatel can search the Malphite. Malphite is a 1 card rank 4, of course. If you control no monsters or only Xyz, you can special summon it and the Elise from your deck in 1 shot. So then you can make the Mickey Elise, and then search a spell or trap, and then make Magnifica, which is absolutely game. So Magnifica and the trap card, you know that you've won when you actually end your turn on these cards. So yeah, that's it for the monster lineup, I guess. But now we have hand trap, so 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 3 Veiler, and 3 Imperm. I just don't really know if I want to play, like, I guess DD Crow is not too bad with the Malphite. If you DD Crow your opponent, you can trigger Malphite and then summon another Xyz on top of Malphite, but DD Crow as a card is not the best, so I'd rather play like Call by the Grave and some other kind of cards. Monster Reborn is actually a card that can trigger your own Malphite, and that's the reason why I'm playing Monster Reborn. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be considering the card. Desires is just a 1, so I no longer run the risk of being bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! And going Desires into double Desires. I actually made a video on YouTube where that literally happened. I think I had double Desires, and I drew my 3rd Desires with Desires, but Konami had pity for me, and that's the reason why they limited the card, just because of my bad RNG. Anyways, for the other cards, I'm only playing 1 Amento. Now, this is really funny. It's a Quickly Spell, and when you see Quickly Spell, your first reflex is to think, wow, it's a card that you can use on your own turn. Cool, it's an extender. Not really. Ironically, you can only use this on your opponent's turn unless your opponent controls a monster special summon from the graveyard. So this card is like a purple card disguised as a spell card. But yeah, it's a little slow and it doesn't have like the most broken effect out there. basically it kind of mimics the effect of your, well, the second effect of your Exosister monsters, but it's a little more proactive. It's just that it's a almost trap card-esque card, and that's the reason why 1 is way more than enough. 3 packs, of course, it's a Searcher, it's completely broken, but it's a quickly spell that you can only use during the main phase, so you can't use it on the draw phase to play around your roll. That is a little annoying, but not the end of the world, and it is once per turn, so if you draw multiple packs, it's still not too bad, because you can still go like Search Malfa and play from there. So one single packs get your play started, but it might not be enough. And yeah, Double Vadis, there's a combo with like Temple of the Kings, where this ends on like multiple interruptions, like 4 interruptions and draw 1 card. But I don't know if you necessarily want to do that, because Temple of the Kings outside of that is not like super broken. And finally, 3 copies of Litania. Yeah, it's a broken card, oh my god. This card is like the new super insane trap card. So if all monsters you control are Exosister monsters, minimum 1, pay 800 life points, then target 1 card your opponent controls, or in their graveyard, banish it, then you can. Very important that it reads then you can. So even if you don't fulfill the next requirements, you can still use this card. Anyways, then you can apply one of these effects. So immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon 1 Exosister Xyz monsters using monsters you control. And if you Xyz summon previously this turn, banish 1 card your opponent controls. So very, very broken. Of course, you can only activate 1 copy once per turn. Otherwise, it would have been like tier 0 and this deck would be unstoppable. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. God damn, this is going to be ridiculous. So, a lot of black cards, basically. Zeus, and then 2 copies of Magnifica, because this deck vomits so many Xyz monsters on the field that you might as well, honestly. And again, friendly reminder that this card is infinitely better than Utopic Draco Future, and on top of that, it's an Exosister monster. So, if we are locked with the Malfa under Exosisters only, we can't go into Utopic Draco Future, we can only go into Exosisters and then into Magnifica. But even if I weren't locked, I still wouldn't go into Utopic Draco Future because Magnifica is one of the best cards ever. I already read it during my combo video, but I guess if you want me to read the effect again, I can. So it attacks twice each battle phase, which is already very good. It has a quick effect where you can detach material and then banish any card your opponent controls without targeting. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can basically Xyz summon one of the Xyz materials underneath. And that's going to be another interruption because you can have Michaelis underneath and then summon the Michaelis on top and then banish another card. So that's the reason why a single Magnifica is a double banish. So 2 interruptions in 1 single card. That's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Alright, now we have the Zeus package. Well, this is the Zeus, but this is the Zeus package. So Dark Rebellion and Arise Rebellion Dragon Overlord. I don't think you actually can use its effect. I don't know, I actually didn't read it, but this is the equivalent of playing Downward Magician when you're playing like rank 3s and lower monsters, except that it's just for rank 4. So you make Dark Rebellion using 2 level 4 monsters, and then you make this on top, and then you make Zeus, and then your Zeus has 4 materials. So yeah, it's not really that you're using them for their effects, just to make a 4 material Zeus. That's it, that's all. It doesn't have to be any more complicated. Now we are playing 3 Michaelis and then 3 Caspatel, no brainer. Caspatel is a search for a monster, and Michaelis is search for a spell or trap. So of course that we're trying to play 3. 1, use Sophiel. I think this is a Dweller, huh? Yeah, you can activate this effect. Neither player can activate card effects in this graveyard. Card or effects in the graveyard this turn. Yeah, pretty freaking nice. And the other effect is also to bounce back a card, but it's not a quick effect, so this is only the kind of card that is like very broken to Xyz summon on your opponent's turn, or use its effect to like break boards on your own turn, but going first, it doesn't achieve anything, whereas these cards, going first, they get your play started because they search cards. So that's the reason why they are more important than Eusophiel and Gibrine. Gibrine has the effect where you can detach a Xyz material, and then for the rest of the turn, all Xyz monsters, even the ones that you don't currently have, will gain 800 attacks. So you can use this effect and then Xyz this with another monster to make a Magnifica. And Magnifica will have 3600 attack, can attack twice for 7200 damage, which is absolutely massive. And now we have Ni no Ruru, the Majestus Glass Goddess. I don't think you can really... I think you can use the first effect, but what is really important is the second effect. While it's equipped to a monster, you can target 1 Majestus card in your spell and trap zone itself, and 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy them. And the Artemis is like similar, but instead of like destroying a spell or trap, you search a Majestus monster from your deck to your hand. So Zora equips itself with a Majestus monster from your extra deck. So either Artemis, you can search another Zora, which gets you another play, or the Ninururu, which is going to be popping a spell or trap your opponent controls. So either way, very, very, very good toolbox. And honestly, that's the reason why I love this deck so much. It's one of the most toolboxy decks in the entire game. I just always have been a fan of Rank 4 Xyz decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, sure, they can be a little linear, but they get to play so many different cards that fulfill so many different roles that it's just always super refreshing to play. And when it is a very slept-on archetype like Exosister, it's always, you know, it's just so freaking fun, man. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm really happy to be making this deck profile right now. Anyways, for the idea section, a lot of cards that you can no longer really play because Malfa locks you under only being able to special summon Exosister monsters. So a lot of old options just no longer work. So Crowley, and then Zora, the synchro monster that is actually very broken when I think about it. Tornado Dragon, Baguska, Utopic Draco Future Package, Verte, no. Temple of the Kings, actually a pretty good one. This is the Prohibition-esque spell card. So when you Xyz summon, you can declare a card name, and it basically becomes the same as Prohibition for the card name. So your opponent can't use Nibiru if you call Nibiru, etc. And cards that could actually be nice in this deck, like D-Fisher, Macrocosmos, Necro Valley. But, I mean, do you really need them? I guess they're not too bad, but yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say and showcase for this deck profile. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.